Good day again, everybody. So in this lecture, I'm going to discuss about the concepts of leadership and management. Okay. Let us start with the foundation of nursing leadership and management. Now, in modern healthcare, nursing leaders and managers must balance operational efficiency with ethical and clinical excellence. This lecture will explore the fundamental concepts that will govern how nursing units are being run, how teams are being led, and how professional values drive decision making. Now, let us first differentiate management and leadership. When we say management, it is a formal, structured process focused on order, consistency, and predictability. So in nursing, management involves coordinating resources, budgeting, scheduling, and ensuring compliance with institutional policies and legal framework. On the other hand, leadership is an informal or formal process focused on influence, vision, and pushing for change. It is about inspiring individuals to work towards a shared goal, even in a very high stress clinical environment. What are the key focus of management? The key focus of management are planning, organizing, directing, and controlling. How are these applied in nursing? So if you are a nurse manager, you have to ensure that the unit is adequately staffed, equipment is functional, and standard operating procedures are strictly followed to avoid malpractice or negligence. In nursing, these four functions form a continuous cycle. A breakdown in any single function will directly threaten patient safety, staff morale, and institutional compliance. Let's start with planning. Planning is setting the direction. Planning is the foundational behaviors of management. It involves forecasting future needs, setting measurable objectives, and determining the most effective strategies to achieve them. Under planning, we have two types. We have the strategic planning and the operational planning. Long-term goals are included in strategic planning, such as preparing a department for a digital charting, transition, or achieving magnet status. Now, operational planning is short-term. This is the day-to-day coordination, such as creating the monthly staff schedule or projecting unit supply needs. So the jurisprudence connection requires nurse managers to align all plans with legal frameworks. For instance, contingency plans for sudden understaffing must comply with mandatory safe staffing ratios and labor laws to prevent systemic negligence. The next one is organizing or aligning resources and personnel. Once a plan is established, organizing is the process of assembling and structuring the human, financial, and material resources necessary to execute it. Now, under planning, we have the resource allocation. Or under organizing, we have resource allocation. This means assigning staff based on patient acuity scores, ensuring medical supplies are stocked, and defining the precise chain of command on a unit. Now, determining who patients with whom, like pairing a highly experienced nurse with a newly hired or returning nurse, is also included in organizing. Now, the competence connection means effective organizing requires a deep understanding of the team's skill mix. If you are the nurse manager, you must look beyond mere headcounts to ensure that the assigned staff possess the verified clinical competence required for a specific patient population, bridging the gap between anxiety and clinical confidence. The third one is directing or guiding and motivating the team. Directing is the people-centric function where management meets leadership. It involves the daily oversight, communication, and supervision required to guide staff toward achieving organizational goals. The core activities of directing is delegating tasks appropriately, resolving workplace conflict, coaching staff, and maintaining clear, transparent communication lines. Directing requires a strict adherence to legal boundaries. So a nurse manager must ensure that tasks delegated to nursing aides or unlicensed assistive personnel fall strictly only within their legal scope of practice to avoid liability. Directing also means fostering an environment where returning or novice nurses feel safe asking questions without fear of ridicule, which heavily accelerates their confidence building process. The last one is controlling. This means evaluating performance and ensuring safety. Controlling is the process of monitoring performance, comparing actual results against established standards, and taking corrective action when discrepancies occur. It is the built-in quality assurance mechanism of healthcare. Now, what are the quality indicators? Tracking unit performance metrics such as medication error rates, patient fall frequencies, hospital-acquired pressure injuries, and patient satisfaction scores. Corrective action means conducting the root cause analysis. When an incident occurs, updating standard operating procedures or providing targeted remedial training to staff is required. Controlling is not about punishment. It is about protecting the public and maintaining professional standards. When audits reveal gaps in documentation or care, if you are the manager, you use this data to restart the planning phase, designing better training or workflows to ensure the unit remains legally bulletproof and clinically sound. So in summary, under management function planning, the primary question is, where are we going and how do we get there? The core function in nursing is goal setting, policy development, budgeting, and legal compliance. Under organizing, the primary question is, what resources do we need and who does what? Ang core function in nursing will be staffing, patient assignments, matching competence to acuity. Under directing, our primary question is, how do we guide and inspire our people? Our core focus in nursing will be leadership, communication, delegation, coaching, conflict resolution. Now, under controlling, our primary question will be, are we meeting our safety and quality standards? Now, our core focus in nursing will be auditing, performance rating, incident tracking, and corrective actions. Now, to summarize, under concept pathfinding, planning creates budgets, timetables, and daily staffing schedule. Establishing direction means to create a vision for future culture and patient care excellence. The concept team building, the system or the manager's approach will be organizing. That means you need to assign nurses to specific beds or shifts based on headcount. Now, the leader's approach will be people, aligning people, communicate the vision to build a cohesive, cooperative team culture. Under execution, the manager's approach will be controlling. Audit charts, track errors, and enforces hospital policies. Okay, so what will be your approach? Motivating, inspire staff, build confidence, and foster psychological safety. Development means training, schedules mandatory competency check-ups for compliance. Our approach will be mentoring. Invest in long-term professional growth and ethical decision-making. Leadership and management is best applied in an organization. That means organization is the structured and systemic approach of providing healthcare. It establishes who reports to whom, what lines of communication are followed, how far the staff can operate, and more. Application means organizational knowledge. Assists nurses navigating accountability. Nursing management ensures that organizational structure facilitates safe patient care and complies with local nursing laws. Moving forward, let's talk about dynamics of direction. These are influence, authority, and power. To lead and manage effectively, a nurse must understand how to guide others using these three primary mechanisms: the influence, authority, and power. Now, let's talk about influence. How do we define influence? Influence is the ability to alter a person's thinking or behavior without force or formal command. It relies on respect, relationship building, and communication. Okay. Ano yung example nyon? For example, an experienced preceptor convincing a returning nurse to adopt a new wound care technique by demonstrating its efficiency and patient benefits. Another is authority, which is the legitimate formal right to give commands, make decisions, and enforce obedience, granted by an organization or legal license. Ang example nito will be a chief nurse implementing a new mandatory documentation protocol mandated by healthcare jurisprudence. Then, we have the power. The power is the capacity or ability to direct or influence the behavior of others or the course of events. Power can be formal, such as yung positional, or informal, such as yung pagiging expert or through experience. Ang example nito will be a clinical nurse specialist utilizing expert power to guide a code blue team because of their advanced knowledge, despite not being the formal unit managers. So according to Ray and Kitson, power and influence are tied directly to competence and confidence. So therefore, if you lack confidence, you may struggle to exert positive influence or claim your rightful authority. If this happens, it can unintentionally compromise patient safety and team dynamics. Now, the bedrock of practice are values in nursing leadership. Values are the core beliefs and principles that guide a nurse leader's priorities, decisions, and ethical standard. In leadership, values bridge the gap between regulatory law and clinical empathy. Core nursing values in leadership are autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, integrity, accountability, and professional commitment. So, autonomy means respecting the rights of patients to make their own healthcare decisions and empowering staff nurses to use their clinical judgment. Beneficence and non-maleficence are actively doing good while ensuring no harm comes to patients. From a management perspective, this means maintaining safe staff to patient ratio to prevent burnout and medical errors. Integrity and accountability means standing by legal and ethical obligations, Leaders must model accountability by acknowledging errors transparently and fostering a just culture rather than a punitive one. Professional competence is a core value emphasizing that continuous learning is an ethical obligation. Leaders must advocate for robust transition to practice programs to ensure that never or new or returning nurses can safely practice within their legal scope. Management ensures we do things right according to the law. Leadership ensures we do the right things for our people and patients. Both must be rooted firmly in professional nursing values. I want you to remember that. Thank you very much again for listening.